नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं प्रीति हून इंटरव्यू वाली और आज मेरे गेस्ट एडवर्टाइजिंग की दुनिया के दिग्गज हैं. ही इज अ लिविंग लेजेंड. He has completed 50 working years in Indian advertising industry and has become one of the leading professionals who have achieved this feat without taking a break. This podcast is in 5 parts. तो कोई भी episode miss मत कीजिएगा. All links will be provided in the description. Get inspired and please don't forget to share, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you so much and enjoy watching. So this is very interesting. Your wife actually pushed you in entrepreneurship and you agreed. You happily agreed to her. What was that idea? I really would like to know, like, a husband, a husband agreeing to wife's idea of entrepreneurship as early as in like 90s.
Yeah, it was mid-90s.
This is amazing.
Well, my wife has always been a professional.
Okay.
And maybe she was able to understand me better than many people. And she knew my track record of giving birth to 2 startups. One was Tara Sinha Associates and Tara Sinha McCann Erickson, and the second one was PSL McCann. Both were successful. Then she started telling me, you've been doing it for others. What about you? How will you, what will you leave for your children, for your
It's
grandchildren?
actually very unconventional, because usually wives in 90s would be like, you don't have a government job. You're not stable. The money is not coming on the first of every month. What is happening? And here you have a wife who's actually pushing you for entrepreneurship. That is the reason why I asked you that this is amazing.
Yes, and the most important thing is pushing me for entrepreneurship didn't end there. We had a client in PSL McCann called STG International, who was a very large business. In those days, computer education was very much in vogue. Everybody used to start computer education. NIIT was number 1. Aptech was number 2. STG was number 3. And a close number 3 to Aptech. And the marketing director of that company was a lady called Alka Kaul, who was Chabi's very close friend and colleague. So she went and discussed this with Alka that, I'm pushing Taposh for this. He's not interested. Alka said, hang on. My boss who sits in the US, who's the owner of STG, sits in the US. He runs a software company in the US, Yogesh Vaidya. He was asking me some time back that I would like to make some investments in India. So, the two fell in place. Then Alka and Chabi fixed a meeting between Yogesh and me at Hyatt. I remember that was the first time I was meeting. He was our client in PSL McCann, but I had never seen that gentleman. I was dealing with the local office here. Okay. It was a large client in those days. NIIT, Aptech, STG were all neck to neck.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I met this gentleman, and he said, he met me for 2 hours, and then we discussed our business. He said, I would like to come on a 50-50 basis. I would do the total financing. Again, financing, I had been a professional. Now, I didn't have lakhs and lakhs of rupees in those days to invest in a new business because it needed finance.
Yeah. Were you scared?
I was not scared, but I had hesitations, to be very honest. But I was pushed by Chabi to a very large extent.
Okay. She brought courage to you.
She brought courage to me, and she said, in a worst case scenario, I can get a job anywhere in Delhi as a media head of any agency. So if there's a problem, you can also get a job. So what's your problem? So we started, this idea germinated, and it started very fast. 97 we were discussing, 98 we started the agency.
Yeah, so Confluence Communication.
Confluence Communication started in 1998. Again, what we did was PSL McCann that time was also not breaking up. It's a McCann agency, but the Delhi office was finding itself directionless without me. The Bombay was running because it was under the cover of Mahindra. Mahindras were there. But the Delhi office with a number, and STG was the first business that shifted to us because STG's owner became my partner.
So businesses came in from McCann. Will it be right to say that you actually poached McCann's businesses for your startup to flourish?
Well, in our business, poaching business is something that is nothing wrong in it, because it's
Well, the other way to put it is that the client was happy with you and he chose you over the brand.
that's the positive way of saying
Yeah.
it. Poaching is a word I don't like myself, but that's okay. I mean, I did poach on, you see, GTC, which was in those days a large business, Golden Tobacco, cigarettes, Chancellor, Panama, you would have heard these cigarette names, STG. There were a couple of other businesses, TCL. They all decided to go with me. Again, it was the story 15 years before, or 15 years or 10 years before, Tara Sinha Associates. So they chose me and the team. Quite a few people from PSL McCann in Delhi joined me there.
Do you take pride in it?
I take pride in building agencies. I love that. So they started, and then with Chabi, me and Yogesh Vaidya as directors, we started the company, started rolling. The big break in this company came. You see, in those days, there weren't too many businesses that. So in those days, we used to have SMSs. I had actually got Chabi had actually got from a journalist friend the number of Subrata Roy.
Yeah, so
Sahara.
Air Sahara happened to you over an SMS.
Just hear out this story. This is a very interesting story. So I sent him in those days SMSs. Those were the regular phones, SMSs. And somebody from Sahara within 3 days called me up, said, why don't you come to Lucknow? A boss wants to meet you, but he can meet you only for half an hour. I was surprised, but not expecting anything. I thought that he was being nice enough, since I had sent him a text, yeah, I've started a business.
You didn't believe it.
I didn't believe it, and it was a cold call. It was a cold SMS.
Right.
He didn't, neither he knew me nor I had heard about him. And then he met me for half an hour.
How was that meeting like?
It was a very intense meeting. Okay. This gentleman, he was a larger than life personality. I mean, there can be lots of criticism about him, the way he functioned.
Sure.
But he's been one of my pillars in this business. Because if he hadn't given me this Air Sahara and the Sahara Group business in those days, probably BEI Confluence wouldn't have survived another maybe 5-7 years. It was Sahara that helped build the foundation, a solid foundation to us.
Sahara gave you Sahara.
Sahara gave us Sahara, and far beyond Sahara. He gave me everything that I was asking for, in the sense. He looked at me he engaged me in discussion which was not on advertising. He asked me, what do you want to do in life? What is your background? Why have you texted me? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? You seem to have great ideas, young man, but do you have the money to do it? I said, no, I don't have that kind of.
Do you think that he was disoriented and he did not have a plan of his own? That is the reason why he was asking you so many things which were trying to,
No, he was inquisitive.
Okay.
He was inquisitive. I mean, a Sahara boss, owner, getting a cold SMS. In those days, long SMSs were the fashion. It's like a letter. So he was inquisitive. He was curious to know who's this character. Then he stared at me for 5 minutes. We were not talking. He was sitting like this. Looked at me, looked at my eyes. Started sizing me up.
Were you intimidated?
I was very intimidated. I thought, God, let this meeting over. Thanks. I've spent airfare to Sahara by air. So let me go back.
You weren't expecting
I
to
wasn't
crack it.
expecting. I wasn't expecting.
What was that moment when you cracked it and you knew that it's
He,
happening?
after half an hour, Samreen, his secretary, and he was very punctual on times.
Okay.
He gave me half an hour. Samreen, I remember the lady walking in, sir, aapka aur ek meeting hai. Haan. And he stood up. He suddenly pushed his hands like this.
Okay.
So I didn't know what to do. I shook his hand. I want to give you my whole business. Can you run it? I didn't know what to say. I said, yes, sir. I'll do my best. I'll give my life for you.
You actually said that?
I actually said that.
Did you mean it?
Yes, I meant it. Because if I stare at you and give you a lottery worth crores sitting here saying that,
I hear you.
I would be ever grateful. I would give my life and blood for him. And I felt what? I felt humbled. I mean, said,
Yeah.
this man, and then he said somebody is going to get in touch with you.
So he changed your life?
He changed my life.
Do
And
you
then-
owe it to him?
Huh?
Do you owe it to him?
I owe it to him very substantially. The company owes it to him.
Yeah.
And then, in a very way, we were fast. I mean, he was a towering personality, but he used to. And one day, I and Chabi met him at his Lucknow office. We used to go for meetings and all. Then Chabi just made a comment in Bengali, sir, you have so many parties and you have so many. Shah Rukh Khan comes and
Yeah.
you must call us for these parties. He said, Didi, from now on, every party I do here, said Didi,
Okay.
every party that I do here, you'll be our invited guest and you will come by Sahara free, go back by Sahara free.
Do you think that you backed the client because of the bong connection?
Possible to some extent, but he was a sharp businessman. He wouldn't only give it to a bong.
Okay.
He was a sharp businessman. The other thing was very interesting thing. His mother's name was Chabi Roy.
Okay.
And my wife's
Name.
name was Chabi Roy.
Sure. Okay.
So that built a connection.
Sure. Yeah.
He used to believe these things. He used to laugh later and say, Acha, I am calling you Didi, but you are actually, I should call you Ma. I mean, he used to joke.
Yeah.
And then Sahara changed our lives.
So how many years it went on with you?
11 years. The day Air Sahara closed in the sense
Yeah,
got
shut
sold off
down.
to Jet,
Yeah.
he
So
had,
when did you know it was over for you?
well, we have been hearing about it. Then I got a call from his CEO here, Mr. Bose, saying that, Tapas, we have sold it off. But Mr. Roy has left a message with the Jet owners to continue. Now, that's a message he's left, whether they
Did
didn't
it happen?
continue.
No?
They didn't continue.
You weren't expecting it.
No, we weren't expecting it. Everybody is not Subrata Roy. So that's an interesting turn. You see, there are some game changers in everybody's life. This was a game changer in BEI Confluence's life.
But there's one question that I want to ask you. Despite the bad name that Subrata Roy has got in the public domain, despite all that has happened, whether it was true or not true, I'm not going in that detail, but it did attract a lot of bad publicity and negativity, so to say. Do you still feel the same for him?
You see, I was seeing this Netflix series, Big Boy Billionaires,
Yeah.
in which he was there, Nirav Modi was there, Vijay Mallya was there. A lot of things which has been shown that he was larger than life in personality and all these things are fine. You see, I cannot pass a value judgment because I don't know the case well enough. But obviously, when somebody changes your life, when somebody makes a contribution to your life which is immense in nature, your respect can never go away. I actually cried the day he died. And he died a death of a commoner. I have been to his son's wedding. I've been to all his parties. His Sahara city
Yeah.
is a gorgeous place to be in. It's literally a city. He had his own, private helipads. He had his own stadiums, basketball, tennis, everything, and his bungalows. And we used to be called for, and there were parties every 3 months.
So do you think that what happened to him was not right?
You see, I cannot pass a value judgment on this. I am too insignificant to pass a value judgment. I have not gone through the case in great detail. What has been the
But
issue?
you will always feel the same for him,
I will always feel the same for him.
irrespective of the fact whether he was
Yes,
a criminal or
because
not.
huge contributions. He and his company made huge contributions to our life.